1983. A British primary school in Leeds. Lunchtime. Children line up in the cafeteria. On the counter, crisps, chocolate bars, fizzy drinks, bright packaging, cartoon mascots. The children reach for them instinctively. They've seen the ads. They know the jingles. Walkers, Mars, Coca-Cola. This isn't home. This is school. But the snack companies are here anyway. They've sponsored the sports equipment. They've funded the vending machines. They've partnered with the Parent-Teacher Association. And their products are everywhere. In lunchboxes, in tuck shops, in fundraisers. For decades, British junk food companies didn't just advertise to children. They infiltrated schools. They made themselves essential. They framed crisps and chocolate as normal, everyday fuel for learning and play. And they did it with the approval of teachers, the cooperation of schools, and the trust of parents. This is the story of 10 British snack ads that invaded school lunchboxes and turned an entire generation into customers. Let's start with the tuck shop takeover. In the 1970s and 80s, most British schools had tuck shops, small shops inside schools selling snacks during breaks, and snack companies fought to dominate them. One ad for Smith's Crisps from 1978 showed children running to a school tuck shop, eager to buy crisps. The voiceover said, "Smith's Crisps, a school day essential." Another ad for Monster Munch featured kids trading snacks in the playground. The tagline, "The snack that rules the school." These ads didn't target parents. They targeted children directly, and they worked. By the early 80s, 78% of British primary schools had tuck shops. And 85% of products sold were crisps, chocolate, and sugary drinks. Schools became retail environments, and snack companies made millions. One leaked memo from Cadbury in 1985 stated, "Schools are our most reliable customer base. Children have no brand loyalty yet. We can build it." Then there were the lunchbox campaigns. British snack companies in the 80s ran ads explicitly telling children what to ask their parents to pack. One ad for Dairy Lee Dunkers from 1987 showed a child opening their lunchbox, finding Dunkers, and smiling. The tagline, "Mum knows best." Another ad for Fruit Winders featured a cartoon snake saying, "Tell your mum you need Fruit Winders for school." These ads bypassed parents entirely. They spoke directly to kids, who then nagged their parents. This is called pester power, and snack companies weaponized it. One 1990 study found that British parents spend an average of £3.50 per week on branded snacks for school lunchboxes, over £180 per year. And the ads kept coming. Ask Mum for Capri Sun. Make sure Dad packs Penguin bars. The snack companies turned children into their sales force. Let's talk about the sports sponsorships. By the 1990s, British snack companies were sponsoring school sports programs. Walkers sponsored school football kits. Cadbury funded sports days. Coca-Cola donated equipment. And in exchange, their branding was everywhere. One ad from 1994 showed children in football kits with the Walkers logo eating crisps after a match. The voiceover said, "Walkers, fuel for champions." Another ad for Lucozade Sport featured kids drinking it during PE lessons. The tagline, "Hydration for young athletes." But crisps aren't fuel. Lucozade isn't hydration. It's sugar water. These products provided no nutritional benefit, but the sponsorships made them seem endorsed by schools, approved by teachers. One leaked internal email from Cadbury in 1996 stated, "School sponsorships create positive brand associations. Children trust schools. If schools trust us, children trust us." It was psychological manipulation, and it worked. Now the fundraiser infiltration. British schools in the 80s and 90s were underfunded, so they turned to corporate fundraisers. And snack companies were eager to help, for a price. One program run by Cadbury was called Get Active. Schools sold chocolate bars to raise money for sports equipment. The more chocolate sold, the more equipment earned. One ad from 1995 showed children excitedly unwrapping chocolate, then playing with new footballs. The tagline, "Cadbury, helping schools get active." But here's the irony. Schools were selling junk food to fund sports programs meant to combat childhood obesity. It was circular, predatory. Another program run by Walkers offered free computers to schools in exchange for collecting crisp packet tokens. One ad from 1997 showed a teacher smiling as students brought in packets. The voiceover said, Walkers, investing in education. But the real investment was in brand loyalty. Schools became marketers for junk food companies, and children learned that crisps equaled rewards. Let's talk about the classroom advertising. In the 1990s, some British snack companies provided educational materials to schools, branded worksheets, posters, and lesson plans. One program by Kellogg's offered free numeracy worksheets featuring cereal mascots. Children learned to count using Frosty's boxes. Another program by Cadbury provided science lessons about chocolate production. The lessons were free. The branding was everywhere. One ad from 1998 showed a teacher holding up a Cadbury-branded poster. The tagline, Learning Made Sweeter. These materials weren't neutral. They were advertisements disguised as education. They normalized brands, made them part of the learning environment. One education researcher in 2000 called this embedded marketing. Schools, desperate for resources, accepted it, and snack companies embedded themselves into British classrooms. Then there were the vending machine invasions. In the late 90s and early 2000s, British secondary schools began installing vending machines on campus, and snack companies paid for them. One ad from 2000 showed teenagers gathered around a Coca-Cola vending machine at school. The voiceover said, Coke, always there when you need it. Another ad for Mars bars featured a vending machine in a school corridor, with students buying bars between classes. The tagline, Mars, get through the day. The machines were free for schools. The companies restocked them and took all profits. And the products, entirely junk. Fizzy drinks, chocolate, crisps. One 2003 report found that 92% of products in British school vending machines were high in sugar, salt, or fat. But schools needed the revenue, and snack companies made billions. One internal presentation from Cadbury in 2002 stated, vending machines in schools guarantee lifetime customers. Brand loyalty begins at age 11. Now the celebrity and character endorsements aimed at schools. British snack ads in the 90s often featured celebrities or cartoon characters children idolized. One ad for Gary Lineker and Walker's Crisps from 1995 showed him visiting a school, handing out crisps. The tagline, Even Gary brings Walkers to school. Another ad for Nesquik featured cartoon characters teaching kids to power up with chocolate milk at lunch. These endorsements made snacks seem cool, endorsed by heroes. One ad for Capri Sun featured footballers telling kids to stay hydrated with Capri Sun. But Capri Sun contained more sugar than Coke. And Gary Lineker wasn't a nutritionist. He was a paid spokesperson. But children didn't know that. They just saw their hero eating crisps, and they wanted to do the same. Let's talk about the portion distortion. British snack ads in the 80s and 90s normalized large portion sizes for children. One ad for a family-sized bag of crisps showed a child eating the entire bag alone. The tagline, big enough to share, or not. Another ad for a king-size Mars bar featured a teenager eating the whole thing. The voiceover said, go big or go home. These ads taught children that large portions were normal, expected. One 1998 study found that British children's average snack portion size had increased by 40% since 1980. And the ads reflected and reinforced that trend. Another ad for a multi-pack of chocolate bars showed a child packing 3 bars in their lunchbox. The tagline, one for break, one for lunch, one for after school. 3 chocolate bars in one school day. The ads made it seem normal, but it was contributing to a public health crisis. Then there's the approved by mums lie. Many British snack ads claimed their products were endorsed by mothers, implying they were safe, healthy, responsible choices. One ad for Dairy Lee Lunchables from 1999 showed a mother packing one in her child's lunchbox, smiling. The voiceover said, Mums trust Lunchables. Another ad for Fruit Shoot drinks claimed mums choose Fruit Shoot for school. But these products weren't healthy. Lunchables contained processed meat, refined carbs, and high sodium. Fruit Shoot was mostly sugar and artificial flavoring. The approval was manufactured. Companies paid focus groups of mothers to taste test products, then used their quotes in ads. One ad claimed 9 out of 10 mums recommend Dairy. But the sample size was 20 mums, all paid participants. It was marketing, not science. But parents believed it, and they packed these products in lunchboxes every day. Here's the part that should enrage you. The snack companies knew what they were doing. Internal documents released through Freedom of Information requests and lawsuits show that British junk food companies in the 90s had research on childhood obesity, nutritional deficiencies, and the long-term health effects of high sugar, high salt diets. They knew their products contributed to obesity. They knew children were consuming too much sugar. They knew schools were becoming dependent on their sponsorships. And they kept going. One internal memo from Coca-Cola UK in 1997 stated, "Schools are a captive market. Children consume what's available. If we control availability, we control consumption." Another memo from Walker's in 2000 said, "Brand loyalty formed in childhood lasts a lifetime. School-based marketing is the highest ROI strategy." They weren't just selling snacks. They were engineering lifelong customers. And British children paid the price. Today, Britain has some of the strictest school food regulations in Europe. Junk food advertising to children is restricted. Vending machines in schools are regulated. Tuck shops must offer healthy options. Sponsorships are scrutinized. But the damage is done. The generation that grew up in the 80s and 90s, the kids who ate crisps at break time, drank Coke from school vending machines, and believed snack companies were part of their education, many are now dealing with obesity, diabetes, and diet-related illnesses. British childhood obesity rates tripled between 1980 and 2000. And snack companies made record profits. These ads didn't just sell products. They colonized schools. They turned education into a marketplace. And they taught British children that junk food was normal, necessary, and endorsed by the institutions they trusted most. That's not marketing. That's exploitation. And we can never let it happen again.